All right. Nightwish, the poet and the pendulum. I've definitely picked up again the essence of heavy metal or rock music. What I don't know I've got is whether I've fully understood the message of the song. Have a watch, see if you think I got it, tell me what I've missed. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Dr. Nick Reacts. I'm a psychologist in the UK and I tend to react to and analyze from a psychological perspective various music videos. Today we are back with Nightwish. So I've reacted to the Nightwish song Ghost Love Score and was blown away by it. It felt like an absolute breath of fresh air with respect to the music, the type of music, but also sort of like some of the importance of the lyrics and whatnot. In those videos, people pointed me towards the poet and the pendulum and said, you should watch this. And so that's what we're going to do today. I just want to say as well that like listening to Ghost Love Score really gave me like a view or a perspective on rock music, the essence of it and how connecting it is with the people that are fans of it. And the Nightwish fans have been super lovely in the comments and stuff. And so I know it feels like I've been given an insight into how people in this world of Nightwish hold themselves, and they seem to hold themselves as really good human beings. And so I'm excited to now take the next step on this sort of like Nightwish journey and watch the poet and the pendulum. I hope you like what I go for. that was a 14-minute music video, and I didn't want it to stop. It felt like it went quickly. How wild is that? Like, when you do these sort of reaction and analysis videos, the more content there is, the more there is to think about, the more there is to write down. So it can be quite intimidating to watch longer videos, and they can feel like they're going slowly because you're trying to sort of comprehend and process so much. But that didn't feel like that at all. It felt like it went really quickly, and it felt like by the time 14 minutes had gone, I could easily have watched more. Um, I think they're super clever in the way they do pace. The way that they mix up and transition between more intense rock metal feel to a lighter feel, and it provides sort of relief from the intensity, and then it builds and you go back to the intensity, and then there's relief afterwards as well. There's something I love about it. I think they're really clever in the way that they do that. And even with this song, um, just like in the other song that I've reacted to, Ghost's Love Score, the music felt adventurous. I've never listened to music that had a sense of adventure in it like I have with Nightwish. There's something about the way they do music that makes me excited for adventure. There's something about it. Um, I think the other thing that I love about watching them is I feel as though they could be in a garage with nobody watching and still be having a great time. It feels like they're in it for the music. Do you know what I mean? When I see those people performing, they're taken over by the music. They're wrapped up into it. They're sort of like, this isn't about fame and fortune for these people. This is about the love of the sound and creating that sound together and being in it. Do you know what I mean? You can see them with their eyes closed, sometimes with tears streaming down their face. They're just in the feel of the music. The essence of the music is just must be connecting and sort of empowering and must lift them up and stuff. You can just see that sort of come through. In terms of the song, it's not as if I've got loads of time before watching music videos to like research stuff, and so I come into these things very blind, which means that I can easily get it wrong with respect to like interpreting the song. It felt, if I was to sort of like try and sum up my experience of the song, it felt as though there was obviously, I think they said Tumas. I think Tumas is almost like the brains. Correct me if I'm wrong. The brains behind Nightwish, and it was almost making out that he died or that he passed away, or maybe that's the wrong way of putting it. Maybe it felt like he'd was shedding some sort of skin. It felt as though something was on top of him that was hurting him, making him disillusioned. It felt as though he'd become disconnected from the process. So, like, I guess he's the poet in this situation. And it felt like maybe he'd lost his love of the poetry. Maybe the poetry had opened himself up to hurt in some way, and therefore it just didn't seem worth it. Didn't seem worth writing the poems. And then there was like this turn in the song, in like the second half of the song. Maybe it was a bit later than that in the song, where it felt like he was almost like reborn. It was almost like he died and his old self had sort of become overwhelmed with some of the hurt that had happened, which had made him sort of feel more distant or feel like less encouraged when it came to his poetry, which would be writing songs for Nightwish. And then there was this reborn moment. And in that reborn moment, there was like this sense of acceptance, this sense of, no, these are two sides of the same coin. It said something like, the pain will keep on descending. It was the word descending that I really caught. The pain will keep on descending, but you can still keep trying to make a difference. You can accept the pain and still move. And it was almost like that was liberating for him. Like the liberation of knowing, ah, I stopped because of the pain, but now I know that I can keep going in the presence of the pain, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? It felt like he was almost freer in that second half of the song from knowing that it's okay that the pain exists and you can carry it and you can still try and provide value. You can still try and contribute. You can still sort of like try and create and do all these things that allow Nightwish be creative, have that creative license. But also what comes with that is like the potential for failure and all of the all of the things that would have been weighing on him heavier in the first half of that song. The second half of the song is basically acknowledging, no, those things are part of the process, and you can have those things too, and still keep trying to push the boundaries and trying to create music that everybody will love. That's what I took from the song. It felt like they were like two halves of it, like this, the heaviness in the first half of the song provided, contrasted to the second half of the song where there was some processing of stuff had taken place and he felt like ready again, ready to go on and push things forwards. I might be totally wrong. There were other things in there, like right at the beginning, they repeated the word empathica, and I was like, I've no idea what that means. Empathica. I wonder. Comments, right in the comments, what was meant by empathica and innocence? What was like the meaning of those things? Maybe he was talking about his innocence being taken away. Maybe he was like a golden retriever dancing through the world, and then something has happened that has like really affected him and made him want to stop writing his poetry, and then some processing of that whole thing has happened, which has allowed him to see that nothing that we do that has any meaning comes without its risks, without its, sort of like some of the hurt that can arise as we do things. That's what I take from it. Please let me know what I've missed, what you take from it, what words were really important there. But like my overall experience of this was the same as Ghost Love Score, really, which is like there's something really captivating about watching that group of people perform and about hearing their music and hearing how into it they are and seeing how into it the fans are, and that real sort of like sense of connection that existed there. There's something absolutely lovely about that, and just for that reason alone, I'm happy always to watch Nightwish. But with respect to the meaning of the song, let me know. Let me know what it is that you that I've missed and I haven't picked out. Thanks loads for watching. I hope you liked my reaction and my analysis, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye. So it's hard, right? Because it's like it's poetic. The language is poetic, so there's like it's like quite allegory. It's like it's hidden. The meanings are hidden. It's not like really obvious what's going on. But like, what did you take? Did you take anything different from it? Like, what's going on?
I had to look it up.
You have to
So
look it up.
yeah, so Tumos is one of the main songwriters and composers of the band.
Yeah,
So he's still alive. I think he's
yeah.
from what I can
Is he a
see,
drummer?
I think he's the pianist.
The pianist. Okay,
Yeah. So
that fella.
yeah,
Okay.
the guy in the piano. Um, it's been a while since I've heard the Poet and the
Mm,
Pendulum.
mm,
It's one of their first. I think it's
yeah,
Dark Passion Play.
yeah,
Um, and it's been a while since I've heard it, but it's on the same level as Ghost Love Score, where
yeah.
it's a long song.
Mm,
But what I find with Nightwish is that with some composers, you got a 3 or 4 minute song, and there
yeah,
are peaks and troughs of the song. You
yeah,
know that there's going to be a singing bit, there's going to be the chorus, and
yeah,
you go through the motions. And by the end of the song, sometimes I'm okay with that now. I'll
yeah,
move on to the next one. But because these songs are so long, you don't know what to expect, and
yeah.
there's very little repetition in what they do.
Mm,
So that's why the sense of adventure comes in, because you just
yeah, that's a
don't
good point.
know what's
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
next.
yeah, yeah,
So you're taken on a journey, and it feels quicker. So a 14-minute
yeah,
song just goes
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that, and
Because of the
you're
lack of repetition.
lack of repetition, because
Mm,
you're invested in the understanding and meaning of what they're
mm,
saying and how it relates differently to everybody.
mm,
So
yeah, nice.
but it's very individualistic for every person. But I think a large part of that song is reflecting on perhaps life experiences from the main composer.
Okay, that's good. And like, obviously, the a pendulum moves,
Hmm.
and And I almost feel like part of the song is like an acceptance of the moving of the pendulum from dark or to light, from dark to light. The pendulum moving from this is all the hurt over here and this is all the good stuff that happens, and you're back in the hurt and now you're back in the good stuff and now you're back, and they are part of the same pendulum that's endlessly swinging back and forth. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
I wonder if that's what was meant by the pendulum. Do you know what I mean? And the poet found himself on this end of the pendulum, didn't like being there, and was just like, right, you know, I'm gonna jump off this pendulum now. And then of course in jumping off he doesn't get to go back to this part of the pendulum. So it's almost like the acceptance of the movement or the nuances from, you know, the positives of our experiences, but also how they're laced with the negatives of our experience too, you know. So it's a hard thing to think about. Like, it's captivating, that music, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think poets are very, very creative, so they live in a land whereby it's they're outside the norm,
Yeah.
and the pendulum represents the norm.
All right. Okay.
I think that's just my
Yeah.
interpretation. So sometimes poets need to go back to the norm a little bit and then step away to be creative again. So there's that constant back and forth
Nice.
motion,
Yeah.
which could be represented of the pendulum. But
Yeah.
it's the other adage of the world keeps turning.
Yeah.
So sometimes even if you want to get off the pendulum,
Yeah.
it keeps swinging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really hard to pick apart that, because you got to try and look into the nuance of the person's life, and unless you do a really deep dive onto what that person's history was, you've got to take stock then in what does it mean for you,
Yeah.
and that's going to translate for every different person.
Yeah. Wicked.